Fantastic Four: The First Steps actually feels like the first steps being taken into a new era of Marvel, and it's actually a breath of fresh air. Ironically though, that breath of fresh air is also a breath of the air that we used to breathe when we loved Marvel, but at the same time, we can't blame them for giving them what we've been wanting. This movie is really good. Is it great? Probably not. Great movies require something to stand out or push your emotion or make you laugh erratically or hold you down in suspense, but it's also not lacking in any of those, if that makes sense. This movie, it's a good movie. It's one of the best comfort kind of superhero movies you can have because nothing really happens that blows your mind and rouses you to pause it and come back later, or you don't want to watch it again the next time because you're offended. It feels like this summer we've made a real return to just good, solid movies, from F1, Jurassic Park, Superman, now F4. These are really good movies. Some of them being amazing. F1 still, I believe, is the best movie of the summer, but these have all been just, I think, way better than I thought they'd be, and I'm happy to see them returning back to formulas with just a movie made for everyone. One thing I noticed was that I checked my watch one time during this movie, which is something that hasn't happened for me during F1, hasn't happened during Superman, but for some reason the pacing in this movie seemed a little bit off. The movie starts kind of slow and then peaks a little bit too early, and then the ending is a little bit predictable, but still done very well. The CGI was done well. It all made sense. There was nothing that I saw that was just out of this world unbelievable. This movie almost felt like a little bit of a trip back to Iron Man. There was a lot of American flags. Family was important, right? Fatherhood, motherhood, that element of being a genius and how it implements into being a superhero in the world around them. We got elements of Scarlet Witch and Sue Storm with the motherly figure, that intensity, obviously the similar powers. Then you've got Ben Grimm doing his thing as the mini Hulk, while Johnny is the prototype, masculine, funny superhero that we get in these movies. You'll notice I changed outfits in this video, but it's because I wanted to take a little bit of time and eat dinner and think about this movie before I sent this, because sometimes I feel like I'm a little judgmental when I watch movies, so I need some time to let it all sink in and see how I feel. Now, I really did enjoy this movie, but as scenes went by, I felt myself looking for something deeper, looking for something a little bit just give me the bacon. Now, with that being said, one of the themes that I love was the parenthood, and this movie does focus on that perspective. What would happen if you were a superhero and you got pregnant? It's weird because I really do like this movie. It's a really good movie. It does deserve the high marks that it's getting, but as you're watching, you're still expecting, anticipating something to come along the way that just is a little bit different, a little bit out there, that makes you think, wow, this movie really stood out. And then you get to the end and you realize, wait, that was cool, but I don't have that amazing aftertaste that I'm looking for.
What?
It's like you're having one of your favorite sandwiches, and part of that sandwich is a certain sauce that you get on the bread, and then you go to bite into it to get that sauce with the chicken or whatever meat, tomatoes you have in there, and it's just not there. It's still good. It's just, it doesn't just hit, because we all know when you have that fire dinner, that fire meal, and you sit down afterwards, and it's just like, oh, that tasted good. That was a little aggressive. I think the timing of this movie's release may hurt it a little bit as well, because again, Superman is genuinely incredible, and while this movie is really good, to watch it after Superman, I just feel like maybe I should have seen this before Superman and I wouldn't have been so judgmental, or just my expectations would have been pushed so high because Superman was so good. This is one of those movies where you can really feel the passion, the time, the effort that went into creating the world that we're shown. The more I was introduced to, the more I wanted to know. Do they have certain elements of technology there? How did certain things work? Where Superman had this 1970s, 1990s, and modern day feel to it, this movie was really good juxtaposed against that with this vibe of almost like a Fallout theme for those of you who've played the game or seen the TV show. And I want to say this is probably the best version of these characters we've gotten so far, as they're most definitely, these are the best actresses and actors we've had. But when you go back and watch that original Fantastic Four from the early 2000s, there is a special level of just, they fit those characters so well, from Chris Evans to Jessica Alba. But I'm also not going to argue with someone who says that Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, Evan Moss-Bachrach, I feel like these are people that have an amazing acting range, and these are certainly the most talented actors and actresses we've had for these characters. We got a pretty standard semi-lecturing monologue in this movie, which I will say, there are no politics in this movie. None. This movie really felt like they were trying to just focus on being a superhero movie and just tune out everything else, and I think they did a really good job here. Which brings me to what I believe is probably the biggest problem with the Fantastic Four, and it's the source material itself. We have a dude that stretches like Laffy Taffy with a Kmart Hulk, and as I said before, Sue and Johnny Storm are awesome characters, but they're just, half of them are just really hard to work with. And this movie did have a few moments where, uses their powers and makes them look useful, but at the end of the day, we all know in our minds there's only so much they can do, right? To be completely honest, this movie kind of hides one of the character's powers for most of it if you really think about it. Don't be embarrassed about your powers, buddy. This is a perfect example of a comic book adaptation that's just very difficult to bring to the screen. The characters work better within just a comic panel strip, and with characters like that, it's going to be difficult to write scripts to create films that make people want to come and see them. I didn't go home and I was like, Mom, did you check out how far Reed Richard reached? Like, he hit like 45 meters on that one. Overall, I really did enjoy it. I don't think it hit the highs that Superman did, but also Superman had a few moments where I felt like it hit some lows that maybe Fantastic Four didn't either, which can be a good thing. A little bit more balanced, a little bit less dynamic range, and if it's what they were going for, more power to them. Off my first watch, I enjoyed it. I'm going again tomorrow morning. I've got that unlimited Regal pass for the next 3 months. Let me know in the comments if you've seen it, what you thought, and if you haven't seen it, let me know what you're expecting. All right, that's enough yapping for today. As always, go out there and do something great. And then click one of these. There's some good videos here. Give them a chance.